Ain't been on TV in 5 years, still talking about me. Better promo, better body, and better work rate than all your favorites still on TV. Let's talk about it.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm bringing you the slop, the whole slop, and nothing but the slop. Link is down in the description box below if you would like to follow along. Apparently, Velveteen Dream he demands apologies and calls for WWE return. Patrick Clark, known to WWE fans as Velveteen Dream, resurfaced this week on Instagram, posting a series of messages demanding public apologies and advocating for a return to WWE. His posts come in response to recent headlines involving former WWE talent Mike Drowsy, Duke the Dumpster Drowsy, and Drowsy's reported indictment on serious charges. In a pointed message, Clark wrote, and I quote, "People guilty of child crimes don't get to walk around free." Referencing his own past controversies, Clark called out the wrestling community and its critics for vilifying him in 2020 when he was accused of inappropriate conduct with minors. And I quote from Velveteen Dream, "A lot of you owe me an apology for dragging me through the mud. 5 years later here, and I stand still, free and without a single charge. It's very hard for people to admit when they were wrong and malicious." Clark was released by WWE in 2020 following public allegations in 2020 that he had inappropriate contact with underage individuals. Stop right there. No, misinformation. That's not why he was released. He was released because of his conduct backstage. Whoever wrote this article, you're full of shit. PW Mania, retract that statement because that is legitimately malicious. No, he was not released because of the allegations. He was released because of his conduct backstage. I did a whole video on it, multiple videos on it. Stop that. But I'll keep reading the article just so that you guys know what's going on currently. But I will correct them when they say bullshit like that. He denied all accusations, claiming a private photo of his had been distributed without his consent and that he never engaged in improper communication. At the time, AAA stated publicly that WWE had conducted an internal investigation and I quote, "didn't find anything." However, at least one alleged victim later claimed that WWE never contacted them as part of that review, casting doubt on the thoroughness of the process. Despite being let go by the company, Clark insists the case against him was built on falsehoods and that he has never been charged with any crime. He is now asking for fans to help him push for a WWE comeback, stating, and I quote, "If you love me like you say you love me, the bosses, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, pay attention to social media." And I quote, he said, "We're going to start a hashtag. Hashtag we want the dream and spam it at Triple H and WWE. They will hear you. We can make enough noise to drown out the lies and the hate." While Clark once held the NXT North American Championship and was widely considered one of WWE's most promising young talents, his post-WWE image has remained controversial. Reports from his time in NXT indicated he had backstage heat with peers, was accused of secretly filming others in locker room bathrooms, and faced multiple arrests, wellness violations, and accusations of recklessness in the ring. Since his WWE release, Clark has wrestled only a limited number of independent matches, and no major promotion has publicly shown interest in signing him. His new Instagram campaign marks his most aggressive attempt yet at a public wrestling comeback, but whether WWE or any other major company is willing to revisit the Dream era remains to be seen. And no, I'm not going to tell you guys to stay with PW Mania for further updates because, again, when you put out, like that's a huge, it'd be one thing if you get something wrong. It's another thing when you just put out blatant misinformation as to why he got released. I read the rest of that article because at least those can be documented. But no, I would not, I'll leave the link so you can read it, but I will not recommend following them if they're just going to just make up lies like that, or at least spread misinformation like that. But talking about the Velveteen Dream here, because it'd be so long. If I were to go through a thorough, how do I put this? A thorough recount of the history of the Velveteen Dream. I've done so many videos on him in the past. Maybe not so much on this account, although I got some videos on this account, which I'm going to leave in the link below if you like to catch up on. I've done so many videos talking about the Velveteen Dream and researching him and his case and, the accusations being made, all of that shit. You guys, if you're fans of the old channel, you know this already. Been talking about this for literally half a decade now. And from what I can tell, It's a different situation when you talk about, for an example, the situation with Mike Drowsy. With Mike Drowsy, he's dead to rights. Buddy legit turned himself in, right? Duke the Dumpster is actually dumpster. He is fucking trash. He is garbage. Fuck him, right? And actually, it's ironic. Someone tried to push me yesterday on the Chase and Rent stuff, which I'm going to do more thorough research on that because I do in the future figure I want to do a video on that also. But I'm too ignorant about the case. But from my understanding, he had as you guys know, the lewd and lascivious, I keep fucking mispronouncing that word, charges that were due to a minor also. But I'm getting conflicting reports. One person tells me, oh, it was not that big of a deal. This person who pressed me yesterday, he was saying this big of a deal and you should check out this evidence right here. So I think he got charged with breaking his probation or his indictment, whatever the case may be. But I am planning on making a video on him in the future to revisit his case personally. But with the Velveteen Dream, from what I can tell, it doesn't seem that he was really doing any of this stuff, and it kind of just looks like a campaign from disgruntled fans. You know what I mean? Go back. You can look at my links down in the description box below. I'm probably gonna leave like maybe 2 videos because I got 2 videos that I know for a fact I thoroughly I hate the word investigated because it makes me sound like a fucking journalist when in reality I'm not. But I combed through this shit thoroughly. It really just seems like disgruntled fans who take advantage of a fucking retard who just he's just retarded. He's just retarded when it comes to his behavior online and the information that he allowed to be leaked and get out and abused by people who, for quite frankly, they just take advantage of the situation. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. Again, it's been 5 years now. Not a single charge, from my understanding, has even been fucking... But you know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, from what I can remember, from what I did when I actually researched all these topics and talking about the Velveteen Dream, nothing really was out there for me to want to, press the man like that. It was just something that was malicious. He's right. It was malicious for the most part. Now, we come to the part that's a little bit more complicated because Velveteen Dream is asking for his comeback. Now, if you want to talk about the situation in regards to like the, pedo allegations, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Again, you can make your opinions known if you want to go look at my videos when I actually talk about this stuff thoroughly, and you tell me what you hear me talk about and you hear me report on in regards to the links that I found and talked about thoroughly. You tell me what you think. It clearly seems like it was just, I hate to call them trolls, but it really does just feel like trolls who just brought up some misinformation, blatant, it's disinformation, just to get back at Velveteen Dream for, I don't know, maybe the motive can be the fact, because I remember one of them were actually asking them to get them into the business or help get their foot into the business, and I think Velveteen Dream essentially just ghosted the kid, so that could be a situation right there. The other kid I'm not too familiar with, and I can't remember exactly what happened, but again, it's in the video. Again, I did this like a year ago, even 2 years ago in some cases. Dude, Velveteen Dream, you're not coming back. Like, just give it up. Just give it up. All right, we'll get more deeper into like why, and I'm pretty sure you guys know why, but just put the minor stuff to the side, which from what I can tell is it's actual bullshit. Dude, your history, your name is completely tarnished. Never mind the minor stuff, we'll talk about that later, but just your reputation backstage. Just because I don't believe you to be a pedophile or a guy who's a groomer or anything like that, I do believe that you are a nuisance. Maybe you changed your behavior. I don't know. But from what I can tell, yeah, dude, it feels like you got released, obviously, because of your behavior backstage. That's the real reason why you got released. But even the stuff that came out afterwards, I can't remember if this was before he got released or after he got released, when he got into a fight with, one of his friends or whatever, and he ended up busting one of their windows or doing something to their car, fucking up their car in some way. It was damage to property or some shit like that. He did some bullshit like that. The arguments he would get into backstage, I think he was in a relationship with one of the former ring announcers or whatever, and that fell through very, very harshly. heard about the situation with him and Nia Jax. They have problems. Maybe that stems from the minor stuff, if I'm not mistaken, but they have problems backstage. I heard that he was just a nuisance to be around, just someone who was completely aggravating. And I mean, and then on top of that also, I'm not too sure about the allegations in regards to him being reckless in the ring, but from what I can tell, from what I understand, I don't really see that being the case. I don't remember any matches where Velveteen Dream put someone's health at risk or anything like that, but his attitude backstage was absolutely dog shit, and it was trash, right? And then you talk about the stuff after his release, as the article notated, with EC3 making the claims that he was spying on people at parties and stuff like that in the bathroom. I'm not sure of the validity of those claims, but it was made. Velveteen Dream, I think he outright said that they, at those parties, including himself, were doing drugs, more in particular cocaine. He said that himself, that he was involved in that scene also with EC3 and the rest of those people that were partying that night. And just overall, he said he did a bunch of cocaine. So you already released that information. That's not good. You know what I mean? And what else happened? The stuff with the police in the gym. You guys remember that? When he got into the altercation with the gym guy? And, he was like, tell him when he got arrested, read me my Miranda rights, read me my Miranda rights, read me my Miranda rights, dude just sounds like the world's biggest douchebag. Like, he sounds like an absolute fucking asshole. Like, he is. That's what it sounds like to me when looking at the Velveteen Dream. He sounds like an irreparable asshole to be around. That is just the stuff that, and mind you, all that stuff building up into a conglomerate of just complete nonsense and messiness. That's why you got released, buddy. And I'm not sure that WWE wants to bring you back. Like, let's just put aside the child stuff. Just that stuff alone is enough for people to not want to bring you back in the upper echelon in that company. That alone, just that alone is enough, right? Now we get into the allegations in themselves, which, like I said, are complete bullshit for the most part. From what I can understand, it's bullshit. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that even though it's lies, it's margin name, boy. I know it fucking sucks. It sucks. It sucks to go out of your way to prove your innocence. And, you go out of your way to do all this, make it known, prove it. None of the boys can come back with any counter evidence, because none of them did come back with counter evidence outside of the pictures, which I did a video on this. He debunked that by stating this is where they got the picture from, yada yada yada, this is what they did, yada yada yada, this is what they did with their voices, yada yada yada. And then he proved one of the boys were in like some racist Facebook group or whatever coming after him. It was just a bunch of shit. It was pretty overwhelming. Like, I think you have to be a bit biased in order to go after Velveteen Dream on those allegations after he just pretty much dismantled all of it for the most part. But you're still going to be marred by that. That's going to be your identity. That's what you're linked with. That's your entire persona. And to be honest with you, I know it sucks. I know most people who understand that these kind of situations are fucking terrible, they're not going to want to hear this, but it's the truth. When you're that deep in the trenches and your name has been completely trashed to that degree, and it's sad, but there's nothing to really repair it, I don't really blame WWE for not wanting to bring you back. Let's just hypothetically say that was the only problem. Like, none of the backstage attitude shits and none of that nonsense. Put that to the side. Just that in particular. You had serious charges levied against you, my boy. And it's done damage. WWE, if they bring you back, there's going to be a group of people who aren't going to be as understanding as I am when it comes to proof and evidence. I can't outright say it's the truth, but from what I can see, it's definitely proof and it's definitely evidence. Take that for what you will. People are not going to be as understanding. You know what I mean? That's just the society that we live in nowadays. Maybe it'd be better if social media wasn't around, But with social media around constantly bringing this up, you're a brand risk. That just is what it is. You're a brand risk. And I don't blame WWE for not wanting to do business with a brand risk. No matter how true it is, no matter how false it is, your name is now tarnished. You are now linked to some of the worst people in the world. There's just no getting around that, man. Would I like it if he came back? If he was a changed man via his attitude and there was some way to prove that? Yeah, sure, I guess. But it doesn't really feel like that's going to be the case, because once those allegations are now tacked onto your name, that's it, buddy. That's a done deal. At this point, man, just move on. Move on with your life. Find some other job. I know it sucks. I know it sucks, right? I know the whole quote unquote cancel culture is the first thing that's going to pop up in people's minds when you hear something like this, which, you know what, to a certain degree, I guess that's probably the best way to describe this, because it kind of is canceling someone. This is legitimate cancel culture, not cancel culture that someone is now super popular still, and then you just levy the phrase against it because, you know, they're speaking against all the atrocities of the world. No, this is legitimate cancel culture, where like you got something attached to your name, you everybody hates you. There's no way around it. You can't get anything back. Your job, everything is tarnished in regards to your name, in regards to entertainment, right? There's just no getting that back. That's actual legitimate cancel culture. And then you tie all that, like I said, with the behavior problems, there's no incentive. Not to mention, and this is going to sound sucky too, brother, you haven't been relevant in 5 years. WWE has moved on. People forget, even with the stuff that was going on in 2020, he was absent for a good chunk, especially at the middle to the late portions of 2020. He was gone. Didn't he have that car accident? Remember that? He was gone for a good chunk of 2020, even afterwards. And then when he came back, they jobbed him out to Kushida. Remember that? They were jobbing him out to him. And he had maybe one return match in 2020. I don't even remember him in 2021. Maybe he was there, but I don't remember him. And then he was released around this time, 4 years ago. He got released in April or May of 2021. It's over, my boy. Just give it up. Move on. It's done. That name, you can't use it anymore. Your name is tarnished. Your attitude, that's further tarnished your name, and you're irrelevant. And then there's no reason to have to deal with you. There's no reason to deal with you. Just give it up, man. Go by your personal name. Maybe you want to work the indies. I'm not even sure if that's even plausible to do on a consistent basis, because, he just went to that last promotion a couple of months ago and fans were like, what the fuck is this all about, right? There's just no getting away. It's been 5 years and people are still calling you this, bro. It's over. It's over. Dream over, as you like to say. It is what it is, bro. But let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section below in regards to how you feel about the topic. How do you feel about it? Do you feel somehow Velveteen Dream could make a comeback? I think the sensible thing to say is, yeah, he was wronged in the sense that he was accused of such things and people just took it at face value. Again, it's not like a Duke the Dumpster situation where you can legitimately watch the man tell you straight up that I am not innocent because he turned himself in and revealed that he knew that he was being spied on by the FBI, watching his every move while he purchased CP. That is dead to rights. But all this stuff right here, it wasn't dead to rights. It was he said, she said, and people ran with it. Is that wrong? I think it is. But that doesn't even take away from the fact that you still have backstage problems. Let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section below as far as how you would like to regulate the situation. As always, my name is Devontae, aka Millennial Smart, and I'll be catching you guys later. A deuces and a pea ice.